Random question number 2. Ooh, these questions, man, are not light. Are people are people ethically obligated to improve themselves? Yeah, I thought these were going to be light,
Yes,
but
man.
it's not.
Yes. I say yes for sure. I say yes because that's like what if you don't like improve yourself, what do? You just lay fallow? Like you're just gonna go to waste? That's such a waste. Like that should be some kind of like ethically immoral shit. Like okay, so like we have a problem with rich ass people in this country all keeping it to themselves, right? It's like, what do you do with all the money? You just keep it all to yourself? It's like the same thing with our wealth, right? We're actually, if you have a computer, you're in the 1% in this world. Like you have a computer, dude, and the internet. So it's like if we just lay fallow and don't do shit, like I think about this every day when I smoke weed. I'm like, dude, I'm not doing shit. Like, what can I be doing? Like, I'm like, I can't even play video games. I'm like, I play for like 15 minutes. I'm like, bro, I can be doing something else. Like, I know I'm high. I'm really enjoying this, but I can be doing something else, you know? But yeah, I say yes, yes, because that's, I don't know, what else are you going to do, you know? What else are you going to do?
Well, here's the thing. I want to chime in on that then. I think that's the hard part. So are we... Okay, say the question one more time, Emeroy.
Are people ethically obligated to improve themselves? Man, this is
the word podcast. With obligated, here's the thing. To what extent? Right? Because anybody can say, I mean, first of all, you're obligated to do something, right? You have to walk. So you have to learn how to walk. So you have to, you know, like that's bettering yourself, right? You don't necessarily have to go to school, but then you can't talk, but you need to order food if you're just going to get, you know, walk in life and you just can be mute. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's like certain things that people are like, well, I did that. I went to elementary. I went to high school. I got a car. Like, you know, like there's just certain things that's like, is it the bare minimum? Because you're getting farther than somebody who's not in that way, but you're also not doing anything for society, if that makes sense, you know? So I think the bigger picture is, yes, we want somebody who's like supporting and like helping at some aspect in society. But that aspect is very general depending on what your upbringing is, you know, because sometimes, you know, for instance, people who come from families who never gone to school before, and then they're the first ever who's, you know, made it. That's kind of like their sort of legacy, if you will, is people who don't do anything. So they chose to do something better, you know? So it depends. It's kind of relative to what your upbringing in your life is.
Was the question about improving yourself?
Are people ethically obligated to improve themselves?
Okay. I also read this thing that was like, rich people are like in their brain, neurologically speaking, less capable of empathy. And I feel like in order to improve yourself, if we're talking about like morally or whatever, I feel like you have to have empathy. Like you know what I mean? Like if we're
agree.
Oh, I'm in the 1%. I have a computer. I have access to all these resources. I should be doing something. You have to like understand the perspective of somebody else. So like it was really interesting when like people were talking about like right when this whole quarantine thing started and we were talking about unemployment. My friend and I were talking about it and we were like, oh, I don't know, like unemployment, like should I leave that for somebody else? Or, you know, and every time someone would post like, oh, I need help or I need this, we'd be like, oh, should we like help them? And we're like, oh, I have like $7. Should I give it to them? It's because we are capable of empathy. Like we are close to their situation. Like, so by proximity and by financial ability and by whatever else, like we can improve ourselves by being, well, in my opinion, improving yourself is like being more giving, more generous, more loving, kind, whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I feel like some people are, you know, like the way they tested it was like, they showed like certain images in front of rich people and then like tracked their brain waves and like in where the brain was active. And like when they showed people who were starving or people who were hungry, like their brains like were like barely fired off. But then they had people who were like less rich and their brains were like flooded with empathy and like flooded with feeling. And it was as though they also were feeling hungry or also feeling needy. So I feel like it's like, yes, we can say like we're all obligated, but it's also like, I feel like because we are so connected and our ability to improve ourselves is so connected, we are obligated not just to improve ourselves, but to improve society, because of the fact that the people who run society probably aren't capable of empathy. So we have to to improve ourselves or to improve the lives of others, we have to fight the people who are at the top in order to create a space where we can truly live, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In empathy and in love with one another. That's
Yeah.
my thoughts.
I hear you. I kind of believe both sides. I mean, it's because for me, it's like you have a choice. So that's the thing. Being human, we have the choice to become better, to not. It just, it all comes back to your beliefs, upbringing, all that stuff, your filter of the world. But if one wants to improve society, make a greater contribution to humanity, that the price of entry is, self-improvement. You can't play at the first grade level and want to play at a bigger game, so to speak. So that's just my answer to that. If you want to, it's up to you. I think it's everyone's individual choice. I feel like this could easily be someone forcing a religion on them, or you have to improve mindset, bro, all that shit. But no one's going to improve themselves if they aren't ready for it. The whole classic thing, when the student is ready, the teacher will come kind of thing. So if the person does not want to prove themselves, then there's no amount of motivation, positive influences, or all this stuff will change them. The influences may help because then they're around that environment. And I think environment does play a factor. But it ultimately comes back to the individual choice. God damn, questions, man.
what Emeroy said, That's my answer. What Emeroy said, but in my voice.
Thank you, Diego. Thank you, Diego.
Hey, what can I say? That's it. That's all I got. Next.
All right.
I would like to add the question. I think there's two sides to the question, because it's are you ethically responsible to improve yourself for yourself, versus are you ethically responsible to improve yourself for your family, for your society, under obligation, like Brendan says, and I think it's not. I think the word obligation might be a miscommunication, because for me it's sort of a burden, but it's also a privilege to improve myself for the benefit of other people. Because it's if I improve myself, obviously I'll do it for myself. I'm I'm better for me and I feel great, right? But if I get to do it and it helps the people around me, that's amazing. But I think it's easy to get lost where you want to do things for everyone around you, and it's just that's impossible. You want to be everything for everyone, and no one can do that,
Yeah.
And there's a lot of expectations where it's no, you need to be more like this, or you need to be more like that, and I don't know, it's tough, but I get what you're saying, Brandon. Yeah.